Greetings, everyone. It's the very last Friday in January 2022. That is very, very hard to believe. It sure has been flying by pretty fast. Um, so, a few things to provide some updates and some information on. As usual, I'll start with COVID things. And the question on everybody's mind is what's happening with Omicron? Um, last week I told you I didn't have a crystal ball. I think it was last week, but I found it. I found a crystal ball. So I asked the crystal ball the question that everybody has seemed to be asking and is on their minds. Um, when will Omicron be over, crystal ball? And what happens after that? So this is what the crystal ball told me. Actually, it told several much more qualified people than myself, epidemiologists, state and nationally, and this is kind of what they're saying. They're saying that in South Carolina, the peak is not a perfect peak, so to speak. It is a little bit of a flatter peak, and we may actually be in it, but it may last a little longer than it has in some other locations, and a lot of that is because of our vaccination rate. But we may be kind of experiencing sort of kind of a peak. Now, remind everyone, like I did last time, that you still have cases when you come down from that peak. So if we were to ask the crystal ball again, oh crystal ball, how long will it take to come down off of that peak? Oh, crystal ball is telling me I have no idea. And that's pretty much what everybody says. It seems to be different in different countries and in different settings. Some locations came down pretty quick, and others just kind of slowly or plateaued came down. Hospitalizations are still on the rise, as is the death rate. So we're not out of the woods yet. Now, the second question is what's after Omicron? Uh, I asked the crystal ball that also. And the crystal ball told me to shut up. We don't have a clue what's after Omicron, honestly. Even experts are hedging on those bets. There could be mutations. As a matter of fact, there's a mutation in Omicron that's gotten the attention of a lot of different specialists. We just don't know. We are looking at a lot of different options, pandemics, which is what we've been in for the last 22 some odd months, 23 months. Kind of either do one thing or the other, or kind of a combination. So I'm not really telling you a lot. They move into an endemic stage. They get completely eradicated. Polio and smallpox are some good examples of that. Flu, H1N1, all of those kind of move into an endemic stage. And all of this depends a lot on what's going on with vaccinations, other viral control therapeutics. A lot of different factors come into play. I think the bottom line, though, is encouraging. When we look at predictions that come out of those entities that we follow pretty closely, although they do vary, things look more hopeful in March and April than they have in a long time. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and I'll keep asking Crystal Ball if it's got any news and updates for me. I've now put it on my desk. So other news. Let me remind everyone that at-home test kits are still available, and we're still getting shipments of those. So we want to make sure that you have them as you or your family needs them. We're kind of expanding our partnerships out into the community a little more broadly and making sure that the rest of our community partners and patients and so forth have a pretty adequate supply. But at home test kits are going out in a lot of different ways. DHEC is having them. I think they've already gotten them. And then, of course, there was that website that you can enroll in on and get right away for, well, I haven't gotten mine yet, but 4 at-home test kits free. So at-home testing is going to be one of the things, frankly, that the epidemiologists tell us will help get this in control. And by this pandemic and the cases that are going on, whether it's Omicron or another variant. So please take advantage of those free at-home test kits. So let me remind you of something. And Tracy Thigpen made a very important note for this. If you get a positive result from an at-home test, you don't need to come in and get retested again at CARE South Carolina. We accept the results of those at-home test kits. We accept that in terms of, what your status needs to be on quarantine and for any of the other benefits. So please let me remind you of that. You don't need to come in. If you come in, you're just got much more opportunity to spread the virus. Stay at home. At-home test kits are proven to have high reliability and get over the COVID. It's just that simple. So you don't need to come home. N95 mask. I know I've been talking about these free N95 masks that the feds are going to be providing to us. Although we haven't gotten our federal shipment yet, we had enough on hand and in stock that we've already begun to make N95s available more widely amongst many of you in the staff. If you want an N95, literally all you have to do is ask. We'll make sure that you get what you need with the following request from all of you. Please wear your N95 correctly. There's a little flyer that we can put out with it, but simply put, all the N95s have a little metal piece that goes across the bridge of your nose. It is extremely important for that to be molded to your nose so that it fits across your face. It's no good to have an N95 if it's not well fitted. Now, we don't have to have a fit test or anything that formally done except for our high risk locations. But if you're going to use an N95, use it correctly and use it so that it properly fits to your face so that there's no gaps coming out or what have you. I saw a really good hint by someone the other day. If you put on your N95 and it fogs your glasses up, you're not wearing it correctly. And I thought that was a very good recommendation. Not everybody wears glasses, but I know in the times that I've had to wear glasses, it's a real pain whenever you put the mask on and your glasses immediately fog up. I also want to remind everyone that N95 is not the only mask you can use at CARE South. Now, you cannot use a cloth mask, but we have surgical masks available. And as many of the clinicians and Dr. Smith reminded me, it's hard to wear an N95 all day long. So you might want to think about having your surgical mask handy and wear your N95 in times where you've got a lot more potential exposure, a lot more contact with other employees or patients or what have you. So just keep that in mind. We are supporting your needs for an N95 or the surgical mask. Wear them properly. Just no use having them if we don't wear them properly. I'm going to shift gears now. It's time to start thinking and talking about a few other things other than just COVID all the time. We've got a lot of other CARE South Carolina business going on, but the first and foremost thing that I want to stress with everyone is the Joint Commission is coming. This is the year that we are due for our Joint Commission survey. Those of you that have been around for a while, remember that the last one we had did not turn out all that good. As a matter of fact, we were put on a conditional accreditation status. So they are coming. Usually they come in the month around, honestly, around Easter, March or April. However, we do understand that they are running behind. as of now, we do not know whether the Joint Commission accreditation survey will be virtual or whether it will be in person. Regardless, we got to be ready. And being ready means a lot of things that we might not have been paying quite as close attention to. Of course, first and foremost on the Joint Commission's mind in this day and age is going to be infection control. That will be the absolute key thing. And frankly, infection control is where we failed in so many different ways last accreditation time. We've really got to buckle down our infection control procedures. Dental is going to be absolutely critical to become, um, shall we say, absolutely frantic about making sure that all of their infection control uh, is every I is dotted and every T crossed. But all of the rest will be quite important also. So Randy Carlisle will be helping us dust off our infection control along with all of our other Joint Commission criteria. We talked about it even in our quarterly risk management meeting today. And risk officers and your site administrators are going to have some heightened attention paid to getting ready for the Joint Commission. They're coming. Um, Next week will be the rollout, the beginning of a very important month. Black History Month is in February, and that is very important to us. The Inclusion Council at CARE South is helping us uh, address this very important hallmark in who we are, not only at CARE South, but as individuals in our local communities. I've been very struck recently by the things that we may not all know. The incredible history, the Black history that is in our own communities, out our back doors. As a matter of fact, that got driven home to me when I began to learn much more about Mary McLeod Bethune, who was born just outside of Maysville, right down the road from our Bishopville office, and who went on to become one of the founder of a college that laid the foundation for Black colleges throughout the United States. Now, that college, we'll let Florida have the credit for that because she did start that college in Florida. But she was one of our native, born in the South Carolina, great history figures for whom we need to know more and more about. I'm always struck by why didn't I know about that before 2021? So we'll learn a lot more during Black History Month and look forward to that, the legacies that have been given to us and the histories that we have to celebrate this most important time. And other things going on at CARE South, of course, the new building in Dillon is making quite good progress. The end of April completion date still looks really, really solid. We're excited about that. Many of y'all may not know, but I was born in Dillon. I was born then at the hospital that was then called St. Eugene's Hospital. So having this new building in Dillon really resonates at home with me. We're going to be looking for things that we did in all of our other sites, have historical pictures and things like that. And I'm looking forward to contributing to that on a personal note since my family all has roots in Dillon. So that's going to be a very nice thing. And on the second building, Chirral, we have made some really good progress. See, it's not all things COVID. We had to go through a lot of hoops to get HRSA to release us and begin the actual work on the building. And that work has to begin with some site prep. Many of y'all may not know what that site looks like, but it's wooded, and we have to do some clearing and some site prep. But we have been cleared to do that. We've done all of the environmental assessments, historical reviews, and all the other I's dotted and T's crossed, and I have been real excited to get that accomplished. And now we'll start seeing some real progress. I'm going to try to share some pictures as we go through that with y'all. So maybe attached to my email or something as that begins to progress. And don't forget, there's still St. David's. I know it looks like we're not ever going to do anything at St. David's, but we are. Uh, we are right now having to wait on USDA, and USDA is handicapped themselves. All of our governmental offices and agencies have themselves been hit hard by COVID, Omicron especially. So um, they haven't been always the most timely in giving responses back, but I'm pretty confident that, um, I'm pretty confident that by the end of the year, I think we'll have St. David's in use and available to expand and accommodate our growing administrative services. So things really going on in a lot of different settings. I want to roll out some congratulations. I know you received emails on this, but these have been some pretty big developments that have happened in our Care South organization. Santrice Haley went into a new position, giving her some growth and recognition of how well she's done. Santrice is Director of Administrative Services now. Liz Kirshner had the audacity to retire and just to be closer to her family up in North Carolina. Liz is remaining with us in a contractual consultant type of basis, but Amy Cook has smoothly moved into her position, and we really want to congratulate Amy and give best wishes to Liz as she moves into this new journey. And I don't know whether you know this, but there was an anniversary this week also. This week marked the 1 year anniversary that we had been providing the monoclonal antibody infusions. We've gone over 7,000. I didn't write down and can't quite remember the exact number, but that is quite a legacy that we have being able to provide monoclonal antibody infusion to the communities. Last is next week, I'm going to be rolling out something that I hope is going to be fun for everybody. We're going to start this kind of a fun little thing with some questions that'll I'll be posing buried in my video, and when you find the correct answer, you'll have an opportunity to respond with the correct answer, and then all those that answer correctly will be in a drawing for prizes, gift cards. We don't have all the details worked out yet, but I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. It's time for us to have some fun and see the light at the end of the tunnel. So, y'all be safe, stay sane, wear your mask, keep careful protective efforts in place. Don't go out without your mask on, even in the community. And test, 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 test. Y'all take care. Bye bye.